Alright everybody, I just wanted to start with this real quick. This is it's 7:31 p.m. by the way. 7:31 p.m. It's 3/28/2011. 3/28/2011. Alright, 3/28/2011 up here. And they got 23/21. 7:21 Eastern Standard Time. Alright, and this is the online Geiger counter nuclear radiation detector map that no one's using anymore. It seems like, anyway. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know everybody on YouTube. Anyway, as you can see, it's normal right now. Now, these are private individuals, from what I understand, and that have this Geiger counter directly hooked to their computer, and it automatically gives the readings. So you see the very low counts compared to when I first saw this map. They were higher, but stay alert. But one of the things that we really need to do is we're getting caught up getting fed this bait, and we're chomping on that bait, but we're not going far enough to see the hand that it's coming from. You know, part of the reason is because we're not conscious, we're unconscious. They have heavily bombarded our brain, and has frozen it up. You've heard that we only use 1%. 99.9% of our brain we don't use. 1%. We're 1% conscious. And that's part of our selfhood. That's where the Holy Spirit resides. And that's what we got to get back to. But learning that, part of that is learning about our minds. We haven't been taught, and them being the royals, that's who's running the show. The royals, these guys, they go up to royalty and they get their medals for good service, right? And those medals are linked to a certain group. And one of the things we have to be to get more consciously aware is we need exercise. Our brains need exercise or whatever, and we need to become symbol literate. We need to start learning these symbols that they're using, because they're all over, and there's not a corporation that's not linked to Freemasonry, which goes way back. I'm telling you right now, it goes way back to Egypt and even further. This thing goes way back. There's ancient texts that they're not telling us about, and writing them off as myths and stuff like that. When you why haven't we been given the opportunity to decide that for ourselves? Why were the advanced classes, were those for special people? Remember those in school? Advanced classes for special people. So we need to become more awake and get to know ourselves and our selfhood. That's where our subconscious lies. That's where our conscious lies, in our selfhood. They have overstimulated and manipulated our egotistical side of our brain, which is a whole other story how that came about. But anyway, that we have it. It's our fight, flight. It's the one that thrives off all this competition being rammed down your throat, and American Idol, and the roommates, which is very interesting. What was that called? Big Brother. Okay, so this is a quote by Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, and this is Micheal Tsarion. Whether what you feel about him or not, you think he's disinformation or whatever, I like looking at sources that actually give sources, and good sources. These are people that have been oppressed. These are people that have been jailed. There's been some in the past that have been burned. If someone's been burnt at the stake, you got to ask yourself why. Someone's been jailed. You got to ask yourself why. You know, what's going on here, and when you see the things they were saying as well. But this is a Tsarion Walker 1's channel, the YouTube channel Tsarion Walker 1, and he has this Micheal Tsarion 3-parter up. Not very long, but very, very informative. I'm going to leave the link to the first part below. I'm going to show you a few things in it, and then I encourage you to watch all 3 parts. Just go to the channel, click the link, and then I'll just put the channel link. It's the first 3 up on the channel, on the uploads. Okay, so you might have to click the upload tag when you get there. And this quote is, "It is a great source of error to believe that there is no perception in the soul besides those of which it is conscious." Okay, so what he's saying there is your subconscious perceives a lot of things. It perceives everything in high detail before you're even consciously aware of what it is. So that's how that's why them using these symbols and everything that they're doing is so important, and using television on people, and the ULFs, ultra low frequencies, they use to put you in a more hypnotic state. This is happening. These guys study the brain. They go to Yale, Skull and Bones, you know, they go to Oxford, they go to Poomph Academy, you know. This is royalty, and these are chosen people, you know, the chosen ones. We've been highly lied to, people, and we have to dig deeper. We gotta quit nibbling the bait and go after the hand that's throwing the bait. Okay, here's yet another quote. This may be kind of a long video, guys, but it's very important stuff. Alright, this is from Philo of Alexandria, 20 BC to 50 AD. Okay? Listen to this. "It is a cruel thing that the inlets of the senses should be opened wide for the torrent of the objects of the sense to be poured in, like a river in spate, into their gaping orifices, with nothing to stay their violent rush. For when the mind swallowed up by the huge impouring is found at the bottom, unable so much as to rise to the surface and look out." And that's what they're doing. They're bombarding us with symbols. Fear is a big one. That's why I showed you that thing about Japan at the beginning, and about the radiation. Fear is a big one they're plugging. Fear. They're shocking us like a dog into fear. Okay? We have to all become truth seekers, not just truthers. Truth seekers, continually seeking the truth, going back as far as we can. We can't get at one stop and say, wow, this is beautiful, and miss out on all the other countrysides that are still out there, you know. So anyway, let's go to 254. Sorry, 1 second here. Boom. Okay, this is from the book, from Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. Okay. Research has shown that in the first few milliseconds of our perceiving something, we do not only unconsciously comprehend what it is, but decide whether we like it or not. The cognitive unconscious presents our awareness with not just the identity of what we see, but an opinion about it. Our emotions have a mind of their own, one which can hold views quite independently of our rational mind. That's why we have to get to know ourselves. We have to start trusting in ourselves. Is there someone out there, and they're supposedly came out of the church, and they're promoting the truth and blah blah blah, but they're telling you, don't you go anywhere else or you may be deceived. Don't go anywhere else. There's wolves out there in sheep clothing. That's a fear tactic. Okay? Not trusting yourself is the highest form of blasphemy, because your Holy Spirit is yourself, it is in yourself. I and you and me type thing. Okay? 526. Okay, this is Peter Russell. I forget his title. The shift from left to right brain activity also causes the release of endorphins, and this is why TV is so important. They use colors, sounds, um, sex, all kinds of subliminals that your DNA remembers, but you wouldn't recognize even consciously because they come from ancient times. All these symbols do. Um, the release of endorphins, the body's own natural opiates. See, you're getting. It's a drug. TV is a drug. Music is good, but the music with the words and what they're giving you with their subliminal messages and the way they write their songs through witchcraft, black magic, is another thing. Jazz, classical, stuff like that. Just music is good for your brain. Loves it because it sees it as numbers and it loves calculating numbers and stuff. So you got to watch the music. Big. That's why they use music, because they know this. It is possible to become physically addicted to watching television. A hypothesis borne out by numerous studies which have shown that very few people are able to kick the television habit because it's a drug. It's an addiction. And they're purposely doing that. It should be illegal what they're doing, really, if you think about it. They are tampering with your mind, and it is the things they are doing, they study. You know, this is one of their expertise that they must learn. Of all the other things, this is one of them. Okay. Now I'm just going to play this one for you real quick. Just listen to it very closely. Okay, this has to do with what grown-ups think you're dumb is showing you. I guess it doesn't have to be that complicated. I'm sure it can be broken down even further. These guys have layers upon layers of this onion, and that's why we all got to get on par. We have to quit arguing with each other, no matter where we come from. If you're against the powers that be, you're against the royalty, you're against the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, then we all need to camp together and love our neighbor and help each other and so on and so forth. Okay, so
sorry. Here we are. Here's the right one. Take a word like this is just one example of many on the DVD. There's more, but centra. Interesting word that doesn't mean anything in English. That's because it's not meant to. It's a composite word, and it's in fact a non-English word, and that should always alert you when the word is not English. There's something else going on there. It's either a Latin word or a Greek word or a Hebrew word or even a word from the magical tradition. And this word is a composite word that embodies a lot of different other phrases like center and centaur and enter and scent and serpent. You see, and ra. It has all these connotative phonemes and connections. Very much the same with the Mazda. In fact, the owner of the Mazda company named it after Ahura Mazda, the god of the sun, because he was a Zoroastrian. I mean, he openly admitted that he was part of that organization and named his company accordingly. And by the way, that is the sign of Aries, which is always sacred house of the zodiac too, solar cults. Nisan is the same as the Jewish first month where the sun rises on the horizon. That's why you have that circle.
all right, so there you go. I got one more thing for you, and you guys really need to look into this yourselves. Okay, now you think this is one thing, but watch. I'm going to put the link to this series, to this channel in my description area. You have to go watch these. It's vitally important we start. Wisdom is power. Knowledge is power.
People have pointed out that this is Aries, it's the devil, blah, blah, blah. But actually, if you really examine the symbol, you'll notice that it's actually a replica of the female generative reproductive system. So it all looks very macho and male on the outside, but it's something quite different on the inside.
Okay, so that's what we're missing. Remember, in the Christ teachings in the Bible's a great book. I don't care if you're a believer or not. There's things in there, whether you look at it as their playbook or you look at it as whatever you look at it as. We've been highly deceived. Highly deceived. Okay, right here you can see in this picture what the mouse looks like, right? On this computer store. They want us to reproduce and then cry about overpopulation. Replenish the earth. Okay, think about all these things. And now, oh, we've replenished the earth too much now. Something ain't right. We need to do our research. We need to look into this. It's a lot more exciting once you know what's really going on and what this is. We are more powerful than them with just our minds. It's not about a revolution. It's about revelation, man. It's they are scared to death of us lifting our minds, taking that weight off of our consciousness. And that's why they're pumping up the efforts, because they know we're about to go through a photon belt. Pluto's lining up with galactic center, and that's why they've told us to stay away from stars. We've been told to stay away from stars, but they're not. And they know Saturn's coming in to play here, and they know all this has been happening. Okay, and they're going to use it to their advantage, um, and try to deceive you that way. All right, so there you go. We need to quit fighting one another till we can. This guy said this guy said that. We all need to be truthful and live by truth, because the truth will set you free, everybody. And they're throwing people in here to disrupt this whole thing. And I see people coming out of the church and setting up new denominations on their own. There's no different. Something's wrong here. You project your thoughts and consciousness. So the people that have been leading us, what are their thoughts and consciousness projecting on this earth? Look around. Peace.